Greetings, fellow Fright Fiends. It's your buddy Boogeyman Ben here for another episode of Boogeyman Ben's Horror Zone, and this is my special Halloween episode. Wanted to do this a little bit earlier in the month, but just because it's been a crazy month and a lot going on with my job ending and looking for a new job and finding a new job, which I'm starting this week, it's just been kind of crazy and I haven't had time to do this. But what this video is going to be for this Halloween, my favorite time of the year. It's been kind of crazy this month. Last couple of Halloweens have been nuts for different reasons, but still, greatest day of the year for me and my wife. It's our favorite time of year. And this year, what I wanted to do for Halloween is talk about my favorite horror films, or the scariest horror films. So I did a top 10 scariest horror films. This list is going to be in no particular order. And what surprised me about doing this list is that two of my favorite horror film franchises are not on the list. And that shocked me when I was doing it. But it took me a while to come up with this list of top 10 films. I whittled it down from 30 to 10 because I didn't want to cheat, so none of these are doubled up. There's no like, oh, I'm putting these two together like I did for my favorite horror films, where I said like, oh, these two films, yeah, the first one and the sequel kind of go together. No, this is one. Each is just one film. So top 10, and I'm just going to run through them, and I hope everyone enjoys this, and I hope everyone has a great Halloween. Should be great as always this year. And I will be doing a neighborhood video as well, where like I've done the last couple of years, where I go around my neighborhood and shoot a video. I always do that, and I always upload it in November because it just sort of takes some of the sting about Halloween being over. So hope everyone enjoys this list. So here we're going to start. So the first film in what I think is one of the scariest films ever made. Like I said, this list is in no particular order, but I had to go with Candyman. Candyman scared the crap out of me the first time I saw it. This movie came out in 1992 when I just graduated high school, and I remember renting it from the warehouse. It freaked the hell out of me. Tony Todd just scared the shit out of me. It was the first thing I ever remember seeing him in. And just the character, the concept, the whole thing, Cabrini Green, and it just really bothered me and got under my skin, and it was a movie for the longest time that I couldn't watch alone. That's how scared I was of Candyman and Tony Todd, and to this day, I will still not say his name 5 times. So, yeah, Candyman, just still terrifying, still one of the scariest movies ever made. Absolutely love it. Next, this film is a film that I've been a fan of since I was 7 years old, one of the first films that ever scared the living shit out of me. And that is An American Werewolf in London. This film is just so perfect. It's brilliant. I've rewatched it a couple times this month. It's on Shudder, which I actually got a subscription to, and it's fantastic. And I recommend everybody checking out Shudder. It's just amazing. But not only do I have it on the Blu-ray, and this is the brand new remastered Blu-ray. This film is just perfect. The casting, the direction, the music, the makeup effects, which are still just fantastic. This movie balances the horror and the comedy just perfectly, and I can't say enough great things about it. Meeting David Naughton this year was just one of the biggest thrills for me. But yeah, this film is just so fantastic, and I still remember I saw this movie when I was 7 years old. My dad took me to see it because I wanted to see it, and it scared the living shit out of me, and I even told David Naughton about it, and I talked about it in the video where I talked about meeting him. But yeah, I was petrified that this werewolf thing was in my house after seeing this movie, and I was so scared I couldn't look around my room. All I would do is stare at the ceiling because I was just absolutely terrified. This movie is still chilling, and I think it's because it's the things you don't see. You don't see the werewolf a lot, but that howl and just the acting in it and everything, just perfect film. Can't say enough great things about An American Werewolf in London. Still one of my favorite films of all time. Absolutely love it. Next, the Blair Witch Project. This movie is still terrifying to me. One of the main reasons for that is that I do not like to be lost. It's one of my biggest fears. And I just think this film is so well done. It's, I know that there was films that came before it, like Cannibal Holocaust, which is a film I really don't care to see, just because there is what I've heard is that animals were really killed during the filming of that, and I have no desire to ever see that. But yeah, this played on that where you thought this was real. And I was in film school at the time when this came out, and this movie terrified me. And of course it wasn't real, but it was done so well. The acting in it is fantastic in my opinion, because these characters are Heather, Mike, and Josh, they just come off as so real. And it still disturbs me to watch it, but just everything that happens in this film is just terrifying. And it just is one of the scariest films ever made, in my opinion. And even now, you know, it's like it's been 17 years since it came out, which is shocking to me, but I still think it holds up terrifically. Absolutely terrifying film, one of the best. Blair Witch Project, love it. Next film I have is Sinister. Sinister scared the absolute shit out of me. This film is fantastic. Scott Derrickson does a terrific job directing this. Ethan Hawke is fantastic in it. Bagul is one of the scariest horror villains in a long time, and I'm saddened that the sequel wasn't as strong as this one, but I still like the sequel. But this film is just terrifying. I hope that we do see another Sinister film, because I think the character of Bagul is so interesting. But this film is so bleak, and there's just dread from every frame of this film, and the way that they use the found footage movies in this is just it's just so well done, and the performances, and it's just such a scary film to me. There's just so much in this film that just freaks me out. The music in this is terrifying. Everything, the imagery in this film just gets under your skin. It stays there. The scenes of Bagul, when you realize that he's in these found footage home movies, oh, it terrifies me just talking about it. I think this is one of the scariest, scariest horror films made recently. Absolutely love it. Sinister, amazing film. The next film on my list should not surprise anyone, and that is Salem's Lot. This is my favorite horror film ever made. I absolutely love this film. I've been rewatching it a lot since I got it on Blu-ray. It looks fantastic. The commentary by Tobe Hooper is fantastic. If you're a fan of this film, I definitely recommend picking this up. But this film is the first film that ever terrified me. 5 years old when I saw this film, and I still remember being too scared to go to the bathroom. I just remember where I lived, we had a long hallway. It was we lived in a condo, and I was too scared to walk down the hallway to the bathroom because I thought Danny Glick or Ralphie or one of them, Barlow, would be there. And this was where, you know, I realized that children could be hurt. I think that's one of the first things that I recall. You know, I was 5, and before that I had seen Dracula and Frankenstein and things like that, but this was the first movie I ever saw where I saw that children could be monsters. They could be turned into these monsters, and that's what freaked me out, is that I could be a victim. And I realized that even at 5 years old. But this film is just absolutely terrifying still to this day. I love everything about it. There's nothing bad I can say about the direction, the acting. The fact that I've been to the location where they filmed it is just, you know, it means so much to me, and I can't wait to go back and do a video of the whole town. But yeah, I absolutely love this film. The music in it by Harry Suckman is fantastic. So yeah, Salem's Lot shouldn't surprise anybody. Best, scariest film to me. It just absolutely still terrifies me to this day. Next one on my list is John Carpenter's Halloween. This is another film that freaked me out growing up, and I think it's just because Michael Myers is terrifying, because he's unstoppable. You don't know what his motive is. He doesn't have a motive. He's just stalking these people, and he's I love the way that Carpenter's camera just picks him up in the background, especially the scene where he's in Mr. Riddle's yard and the sheets are blowing around. One of the scariest scenes, I think, in the movie. But yeah, I love this film. Fantastic acting from Jamie Lee Curtis, Donald Pleasance, PJ Soles, Nancy Loomis, Charles Cyphers, and of course Deborah Hill and John Carpenter crafted a masterpiece. The music in this is just still terrifying. Can't say enough great things about this film. This film is absolutely terrifying still to this day. I don't care what anybody says. I know some millennials are saying that it doesn't hold up. It's not scary. Bullshit. It is still a terrifying film. Absolutely love the original Halloween, masterpiece. Next one I want to talk about is Halloween 2, which I think is just as scary as John Carpenter's original. Obviously, he didn't direct this film, but he had so much input into this film that it does feel like a John Carpenter film, even though Rick Rosenthal directed it. But I love this film because it picks up directly from the original Halloween. I still think the hospital setting is so creepy. It's such a dark building, and just Michael Myers peering around different corners, and I love Dick Warlock. He still, I think, is the scariest performance is Michael Myers. I don't know what it is about this movie, but again, Jamie Lee Curtis coming back, Donald Pleasance, amazing cast, Leo Rossi, Lance Guest, just a terrific cast, and terrifying setting, and a wonderful continuation of the original. Absolutely love this film. Still one of the scariest movies ever made. next on my list is Jeepers Creepers. Yeah, this film really terrified my wife and I the first time we saw it, and we were just dating when this movie came out. Still remember going to see this opening night, front row. We were sitting there, and the first 20 minutes of this movie is what hooks you. I kind of put it in perspective with like Full Metal Jacket. You know, like Full Metal Jacket, that first 45 minutes of that film, you're hooked into the film with the boot camp scenes. And I really think that Jeepers Creepers latches onto you because you identify so much with Derry and Trish. And the fact that they're brother and sister, they're not boyfriend-girlfriend, that they're just driving home from college, and they are stalked by the creeper. And this, I just think this movie is terrifying because them witnessing what the creeper is doing and then nobody believing them, and the fact that the creeper preys on fear, it just works so well. And I love the direction by Victor Salva. I love the performances. I love the performances in it by Gina Phillips, and damn, I can't even think of his name. What's wrong with me? Justin Long, and then Jonathan Breck as the creeper. Everybody in this is just fantastic, and I still think this movie is absolutely terrifying. I sure hope we get another Jeepers Creepers film. As much as I like the second one, I don't think it holds up to this one, but I still enjoy it. But this film is absolutely terrifying, and still to this day, I absolutely love Jeepers Creepers. And the last, one of the last ones, I got two more. But one of the ones that I haven't ever talked about on this channel, and that is The Strangers. This movie scared the shit out of my wife and I. And it's a film that I haven't watched very much. I think we've watched it maybe 3 times, and I think both times we watched it, we kept the lights on in the house because we were both freaked out by it. And I think what freaks us out about this is that, like John Carpenter's Halloween, it's such a simple story, and it's almost like anybody could be a victim. And the fact that what happens to the couple in this film, played by Scott Speedman and Liv Tyler, it just really terrifies you because it could be anybody, and that these people randomly pick them is what makes it so terrifying. I don't think this movie gets enough credit. I know that there's been talk that they were going to make another one. I almost am glad they didn't, because I think it's just perfect on its own. Yeah, this film is just absolutely terrifying, and just some of the shots in the film, similar to, like, you know, what John Carpenter did with Michael Myers in the background. There's a few shots in this where you just see one of the characters in the background in the darkness just walks into frame and then backs out, and that is in itself terrifying. Excellent building of tension. Wonderful film. If you haven't seen The Strangers, I definitely recommend it if you want to be terrified. Love this film 100%. And the last one I'm going to talk about is Stephen King's Pet Sematary. Saw this one when I was in high school. At the time, I hadn't read the book yet. I have since read the book. This is a fantastic film that still holds up, that still scares me to this day. Love the direction of it by Mary Lambert. I love all the characters in it, especially Dale Midkiff as Lewis, and then of course, who cannot say enough great things about Fred Gwynne as Jug Crandall. Love him. Love the concept of the film. Just the whole thing of dealing with death and loss, and just the characters in it. But this movie just has so many heart-wrenching scenes. I mean, the scene with Gage and the truck and coming back from the dead, and I mean, just there's so much in this film. And Zelda, who cannot say enough that character alone is makes you have goosebumps. But yeah, amazing, scary film. Of course, it was adapted by Stephen King. And I hope they never remake this. I've heard so many rumors that they're going to remake it. I'm like, please don't touch it. It's perfect. It's a perfect movie. It's a perfect companion to the book. But yeah, absolutely love Pet Sematary, and I've talked about it on this channel before, but yeah, it's one of the scariest films ever made, in my opinion. And that's it. So that is my list and my grouping of all of the films that I think are the scariest. And what I said at the beginning is that I was surprised that 2 franchises were not in this, and that is Friday the 13th and Psycho, which are my 2 favorite horror franchises. And I don't know why. I mean, you know, Friday the 13th Final Chapter, I think, is completely terrifying, and I think that the original Psycho and Psycho 2 are scary and have some terrific horror elements, but for some reason, these films, in terms of being terrified watching them, these films surpass them. So I just wanted to present that to everyone. I hope everyone likes this run through of what I think are, my opinion, what are my top 10 scariest horror films ever made. Please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about these films. And as always, thanks so much for watching Boogeyman Ben's Horror Zone. I hope everyone has a terrific Halloween. Stay safe, get lots of good candy, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take it easy. Stay scared. Peace.